So let's go into our next topic area. And by the way, just so you know, this is all from Section 5 of the Big Book. You can see, obviously, the page number, as Lee explained. If I can just add something here, Lee, I've done these lectures for you now for about 20 years, and I compliment the Big Book all the time. But I think this is actually a really interesting add-on. Most federal tax update materials do not go into the depth in education as this one does. So use the Big Book. It's really a good resource. Anyway, let's talk about employer education assistance. Employers can have two types of plans, and this is a fringe benefit, Lee. It's actually an extremely interesting fringe benefit that had been put into the code and was always set to sunset. They kept extending, but the PATH Act, remember the PATH Act? That's what made this permanent, and it hasn't been adjusted downward. So it's actually a pretty good technique. So when it comes to these plans, the employer can either have a non-accountable plan or an accountable plan. The non-accountable plan, the assistance is included in the W-2. If you have an accountable plan of the employee, if you have an accountable plan, which in my opinion is the better of the two, obviously, the assistance is excluded from income. The employer gets the deduction. The employee doesn't pick it up as income. From a fringe benefit standpoint, that's like the best of all worlds. And so it's interesting one here. How much can we exclude each year? Up to $5,250. And unfortunately, this number has not been cost of living adjusted. Expenses need not be the education rather need not be job related, which is important. So you can have a company that says, we'll provide this plan for you, take any class you want, you get your degree, you go for a degree, it has nothing to do with the job here, it's still okay. Unlike other types of education fringe benefits we'll talk about. Games, hobby, and sports are generally not allowed. So it has to be education that leads usually to a degree of some nature. This is meant to go through December 31, 2025, but I will tell you that it's my opinion this is going to be extended beyond that also. The tip we have here, have the employer designate the accountable plan payments as going to principal so that the employee can deduct the interest if there is any interest that they have to pay.